So this question comes from Alain Abu T. I'm a master's student in information security and I have to come up with a thesis proposal in the next couple of days. Information security is a really big subject and I think I have to read a lot to have a genuine idea to fill a certain gap. I would really appreciate it if you could give me some ideas, whatever is on the top of your head. Hope to hear from you soon, right? So this is one of those big questions that I get from a lot of you guys because obviously a lot of you guys are actually students in college programs. And one of the big things is whenever you go through a college program, you normally have to write a big paper at some point. So if you're in a master's degree program, that big paper is a thesis paper that generally takes you, it's an entire class, a 3 credit hour class in order to write that paper. And even if you're in a bachelor's degree program, they usually make you write 10 or 20 page papers to prove you have some idea of whatever's going on in IT. And so this is an interesting thought because this guy is doing a master's degree thesis. And so one of the things you have to think about whenever you're writing a paper or whenever you're doing anything is think about what level you are at, right? So at the associate's degree level, you are very hands-on technical. So if you're going to write a paper at the associate's degree level, you would want to write something about how Cisco implements some security procedure, or you'd want to do something on Active Directory group policy, something like that. The reason is because the associate's degree program is about teaching you hands-on stuff, and so if you have to write about something, you would want to write about hands-on things. If you go to the bachelor's degree program, that point they're trying to get you to think about a few more of the theoretical things. So if you had to write a paper on security at the bachelor's degree level, that's where you may toss around some new ideas, like maybe talking about how what is it, like talking about some kind of security for the cloud, using one service in order to secure cloud services such as Drive or Dropbox or something like that. Something more, a little esoteric, a little more theoretical, just to show that you actually understand what the hell you're talking about. Now, once you get to the master's degree level, this is an important distinction, is that the master's degree level is training you to be basically management level. When you come out from a master's degree program, the idea is that you will have people under you. Generally, you are not going to be the ones hands-on. You're not going to be configuring Active Directory. You are going to plan an Active Directory infrastructure, and then somebody else is in fact going to be implementing that. So you would be supervising the people implementing the Active Directory infrastructure. So basically, if you have to install 10 physical servers, so you can have an Active Directory cluster. After the people install the server, you would walk in and go, yep, 10 servers are in fact in the rack. And then you would call up your system admin people and go, okay, the servers are in the rack. You need to come here and install the operating systems and configure and do all that kind of stuff. So master's degree program is more of that management level thing. And so at the management level, what you have to understand is you have to start thinking about concepts that dramatically affect how IT infrastructure is built, even if it's not technically IT, right? So at the master's degree level, you don't necessarily need to be thinking so much about the Ciscos and the Junipers and all that anymore. You need to be thinking about larger subjects, right? And so one of the large subjects going on right now is this whole thing with NSA and the PRISM program and the Muscular program and 1,000 other programs, basically where the NSA is trying to spy on everybody's information. And one of the issues is that any of the data centers that are located within the United States fall under U.S. jurisdiction. And we're realizing that, privacy safeguards in the US are about as solid as Swiss cheese, right? So if you're coming from a different country, it is completely understandable if you don't want your data sitting in US servers. Again, I'm not as anti-NSA as most of you guys are. On the other hand, I completely understand your point too. You know what I'm saying? Like, there can be a disagreement with me also understanding why you guys are frustrated. So, if you're going through an IT master's degree program that is looking at security, one of the big topics now is the whole idea of how do you protect your data from the NSA or even from some of these other intelligence agencies, especially when you have to deal with all of these legal issues, right? So if there's a data center in the United States that Amazon owns, there can be one of these warrants issued so that people can go in and seize all the data and all that kind of thing. So what I would argue if I was going to do a master's degree thesis right now, is I would actually write a paper about the best place to build a data center that has the best legal privacy framework. So this is an important thing to think about. Again, it's not just building the data center, running the cables and installing the servers and all that, but a very big question in the IT world is where in fact do you build that data center? So if I wanted to build a data center for an international company or an international venture, and I wanted to keep the data as secure as possible, I would try to find a country where they have very good privacy laws so that the data would be secure from the government of the country. I would look at a country that is not beholden to the United States or to China or to Russia. Basically, I would look for a country that has the tendency to give the middle finger to the big superpowers, because, that's the whole thing. If you set up your data center in a country and it's protected from the local government, but then the local government kind of allows NSA just to walk in the door, that doesn't really help you either. So you find a country that has good local privacy protections, that gives the middle finger to the NSA, and then also has multiple internet connections for the entire country, because this is one issue you can run into. I think it was like Egypt, a couple of these Middle Eastern countries, they literally have like one massive pipe that comes into the country. So if somebody cuts off the pipe, or if somebody cuts off the connection to the internet, they can literally shut off the entire country. So I look for a country that has multiple internet connections, so even if the NSA or somebody does start to try to screw with them, that your data center would remain up and running. And that would be the thing that I would think about in the modern world. Again, that's one thing I really want you guys to understand. With the modern world of IT, we're getting into more of this esoterical stuff. We're looking at legal frameworks, we're looking at intellectual property, we're looking at security and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes you need to focus not so much on the specific technology and more on, like I say, these overall ideas and things. So if I was going to be doing a thesis paper right now, that is what I would do a thesis paper on. I would write a thesis paper on the best country to build a data center in for privacy protection. That would be what I'd go for.